What is up, everybody? It's your girl Jada Reese here, aka Diamond, back with another video. And today is gonna be my top reads of 2025. So I decided to do something different. I decided to marinate a little bit on the previous year and the reads that were real standouts to me and that spoke to me. So there's no specific number. It's not going to be my top 10, my top 15. It's just, I didn't even count the books. I just pulled all the books out off of my shelf that I adore, that I continuously think about, and that I gravitate towards now. Like the books, I'm literally in the phase of my life where I want to read these books again. So these are all books that I will read again, and one of them I've already read 3 times. So yeah, that's like the criteria for this list. These books are, they were great. And I've also talked about probably over half of these already in previous videos, so I'm gonna be very brief. And yeah, we're gonna get straight into it. But first, if this is your first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, my name is Diamond. I go by Jada Reese on this channel. And over here, I like to do reading vlogs, book reviews, and everything in between. So if that is something that you're interested in, I think you should consider subscribing. I'm in and out over here. I'm not consistent anymore. I made a few videos back. You can go watch and see why I feel that way. But I did say that I would still come, check in, do a little video here and there like we're doing now. I might do a haul video because I have acquired some new books, and maybe the occasional reading wrap up or vlog, but I can't make any promises because I'm still just not like quite in the mood for the booktube community type thing. But I'm here today because I've been slowly trying to get back in and watch all of my favorite booktubers videos. There's so many videos that I have to catch up on, and so I'm taking this time now. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and we have been in a snowstorm, so I have the time. I'm gonna film this and I'm gonna catch up on some of my girlies and boys, and yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. So let's get straight into the first book. So these books, the way that I'm doing this is gonna be, and sorry, also, I'm gonna have a lisp because I did get my braces off last week, and I have to wear the Invisalign retainer non-stop for 2 weeks before I can just take it out and just be normal. So if I sound weird or funny, and my mouth moving funny, that's why. So with the list, we're gonna just start from the beginning of the year up until the end of the year with the books that were massive standouts to me. And so the first one is going to definitely have to be, it's gonna be Sula by Toni Morrison. This is my third read. This year was my third read of this book. I did do a video where I called myself breaking down the book. I thought that I did a good job, but I can do better, and so I'll be working towards something like that in the distant future. But I really love this book so much. I love the friendship of Nell and of Sula. I love Toni Morrison's writing because it challenges you as a reader. This book brought out, for the third time, on the third read, this book brought out more of those. I think I found more specifically, or I honed in more specifically on Sula and who Sula was as an unbound woman, and I feel like I understood more this go round what Toni Morrison was trying to tell me as the reader, trying to like express to me through her language the power that you have to possess as a woman to walk as Sula walked. And I don't even think that she meant for us to think that Sula was this like terrible bad person, this bad friend. I think that more than anything, both of them, Sula and Nell's friendship, the way that they operated, like it took one to have the other, basically. One personality lended to the other personality. And there's those other aspects as well. Like one of the key takeaways for me, and it's because I'm dating again too, so this book is really good with that, like how the language as it relates to friendships between two women, and then your dating life or your marriage, such as Nell and her husband, forgot his name, he's a non-factor. But the importance to me it was important to me to understand the ideas that Sula had when it came to dating versus those of Nell. There's no right or wrong way to decide to be, I guess, heteronormative, which is, you know, heteronormative. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But Nell was more so focused on the way that she was raised and being a proper woman, which in turn made her be more bound. And then you have Sula, who's unbound. And like the way that she looked at the men in her life and the way that she looked at her dating was like passe. You know what I'm saying? She was the center of her life. It was about her from beginning to end. And I find that so powerful as a single woman, as a single mother myself. Like, you can't give too much credence to these relationships, because what you have to understand is men are going to do what they want to do anyway. So why don't we do the same? That's one of the takeaways, but there's so many other ones, seriously. But that's like one of the strong top major ones for me. And yeah, I just loved it. But this book is synonymous with one, like the top, she's like the most like, just like ambivalent, just omniscient, omnipresent person, Toni Morrison. And so she's like really big, a really big part of my life. And so yeah, I love this book so much. Top read, must read for everybody. The second book, based on just like when I read them in the year, it's gonna be Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This book follows a man who, what's his name? I always do this, David. So it follows David. David's an American. Him and his fiance go to Paris for the summer, or like for the, I don't know if it's like for the summer or for the foreseeable future. I don't remember, but they're there for months on end, and he meets and falls in love with a waiter named Giovanni, and things just like go from there. This is one of those stories that is, first of all, the language, the artistry, the craftsmanship of this book, of the narrative, is what really spoke to me the most. Of course, the story in and of itself is powerful, but it's just the way that it was written that really like made it stick for me in my brain. It's like, wow, this book is amazing. James Baldwin is just like, I don't know, it's just something so like, it's just, he has a sort of je ne sais quoi, okay? And that's like my key takeaway, just the beauty of it. And this man, this beautiful writing. So, and also the story, the love story. I think that one of my biggest gripes with the way the story ended was how Giovanni went out. You know, it was just like, damn, was that really necessary? You know, but even in hindsight, or in like if we put ourselves in their shoes around the time frame in which this was written, it was a forbidden love. You know what I mean? Everything was so forbidden, and you had to pay a tremendous cost to live out loud and be free and in love with your partner when you were in a homosexual relationship. And so it sucks that all of those things suck. And even also, it pained me to when we were exposed to, when his fiance was exposed to the relationship, that was a painful burn. It was a shocker. It stung a lot, because like on the outer surface, she really did love David. She saw nothing past, like he was like the apple, the light of her life. And to see him so enraged and in pain and so sad, and she not truly understanding why at first, it's like, how can you not feel sorry for him? You know, still at the same time, I'm angry at you, I'm mad at you. You know, you're putting my life in danger, but at the same time, in turn, it's just like, oh my gosh, like you're going through something as well. So anyway, this book has a lot of emotion. It's very rich in its language and delivery of just this like forbidden love story, and I absolutely loved it. It was great. And so the next book was Killers of the Flower Moon. I've since given that book away to a colleague of mine. I didn't let her have it, but clearly she hadn't read it yet because she hasn't given it back to me. So I'm gonna have to figure out where my copy is. But anyway, in the meantime, we could just talk about it here. So Killers of the Flower Moon is a nonfiction, a narrative nonfiction. It is the book. It is the narrative nonfiction book that made me dive deeper into narrative nonfiction this year was so good. So it tells the story of the Native Americans, the Indians living in Oklahoma on a reservation, and what they in turn found out was that they lived where the point, okay, they were put there because it was just like, let's just stick them somewhere. You guys know colonialism stinks, right? So they were put there because it was just some land that the Americans found and whatever, let's just put them there. What happened was the Indians realized that they lived on a gold mine because it was oil. It was oil rich land. And it tells a story of how these Native Americans entrusted their wealth, their finances to white people. Some of them didn't want to have to do it. Some of them didn't mind doing it. Some of them were forced to have like these overseers of their money because it was like a whole little like crazy set of beliefs of the white people saying that, you know, these people aren't even smart enough to manage their own wealth. They need overseers. They need people to help them out and make them understand how to do this, that, and the third. They used to even have to go and ask to spend their own money. Mind you, that's just a little small snippet of the story. The other part of the story is, the main part of the story is how one of the women, can't remember her name, it was so dense and it was so rich with information, but one of the main characters in this narrative nonfiction she was married. She ended up marrying a white man, and you find out a lot of things within that marriage and how a lot of the corruption that came about started there with that husband. I'm just gonna tell you now, best book ever. So good, so rich in history, and it's actually devastating as well, but it's necessary also to know the things that went down and the things that happened to, you know, the people that were originally here on this land. And yeah, loved it. So good. Chef's kiss. The next book that I read that I absolutely adored was Post Traumatic by Chantel B. Johnson. This book, I talked about it numerous times, so I'll be brief. It's about a lawyer who is an advocate, and of course a lawyer for mentally ill patients in the hospitals and just like in the system, like juvenile, delinquents, all that stuff. She advocates for them. And she also has her own set of mental health issues. And so what you realize here is that she is she's unraveling. She's unraveling at the seams in this story, and you go on a journey, on a ride with Miss Vivian, and it's just really good. I really enjoyed the Hispanic and Latina representation, as well as the Black representation here, as well as the mental health aspects here, and just how you are, I think the part, I spoke about this already, but like one of the main takeaways here, or why I love this book so much, is because Vivian is kind of like a mirror to me. I think I mentioned that in my previous video or a couple of videos before that, where it's just like, you're, as a professional, as a woman of color, you have to put on a different face when you are going out into the world, when you are having to be professional, you know, go to work, make your money, make your living. And then you have a whole subset of issues going on in your personal life. And then like they kind of sort of like start to like join together, and like you can't switch faces. Like both of the faces just merge. And you have no choice but to like, your mind is going to take over. At some point, you're going to have a breakdown. And so I think that this was very, very good. I think I also mentioned that because I find myself to be very well read, there's a reference to Cassandra at the Wedding by Dorothy Baker. And it's really good. It's Vivian at the wedding instead of Cassandra at the wedding. My favorite part of this book is her at the wedding and how she unravels. And so if you haven't read Cassandra at the Wedding, highly recommend that book as well. I read that literally on New Year's Eve 2023. So yeah, best book ever. But this book is also very good, very well written as well. I'm very interested to see what's gonna come next from her. Looking out for something. Where are you at, girl? Chantel, where are you? All right, so the next book after that is going to be Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. That is book 2 in the Farseer trilogy. And I mean, it's not a lot I can say, because if I do, I'm going to be giving it away. And I know like that was like some people like kind of don't like my videos because of that, because it's like, oh, she be giving stuff away. She don't even put like a disclaimer in there, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. But what I am going to say is that beautiful. It's a beautiful follow-up. It's a great book too. Like the intrigue, the stakes are extremely high. I was not let down. I was not disappointed. Just like the way that Fitz is like matriculating through life is just like, I expected it, but it was like, it exceeded my expectations. And the ending left me on the edge of my seat. But I could wait to read the third book because it's so long, which I did check it out, but I gave it back because it's so long and I just wasn't ready. But yeah, great book. I'm really like invested in the story, and I really enjoyed the writing style. Some people hate Robin Hobb. A lot of people love her. I'm on the side that loves her. I love how she does a slow burn. I love how she delicately presents Fitz and his story and his narrative to us. There's a lot of attention to detail that she pays, and yeah, it's I'm not a huge fantasy person, but I'm her. Like I'm her fantasy person. Like her fantasy books are for me. So yeah, highly recommend Royal Assassin, or just the Assassin's Apprentice Farseer trilogy. Highly recommend. The next book is, and I don't know who wrote this. Where's my phone? All right, so it's Roisin O'Donnell. So Nesting by Roisin O'Donnell, phenomenal read. I have a standalone book review of that book on my channel, so I'll be brief. That's a story of a woman who decides to leave her husband because she is being abused mentally and emotionally, not even physically. And so what you find is she has 2 children and she's pregnant with her 3rd child. So it's even harder to decide to do something like this. And she lives in Dublin, which is like in a financial crisis right now, and the housing market is shit and it's very expensive. So you have all those things working against her, and yet and still she still believes that she will not survive another moment if she stays with this man. He's ridiculous. And so she leaves, and you follow that journey, that story, and how impactful it is. Like, oh my gosh, like I thought that it was going to be on the Booker. I definitely thought it was going to be a Booker list because it just had all of the writings to be that. I just thought so. Like, I'm not like a Booker person, but I have read a lot of books that were Booker Prize winners and long listed and short listed before they even made it. So I think I kind of know like the recipe for that. But anyways, it was a phenomenal book. Phenomenal book. I highly recommend this book to everybody. I've not bought it for my personal collection yet, but I will. And I just loved it. It's very reminiscent of just all of the Irish authors that I am into and that I've read that not let me down. They just have this, they have a rich history, a rich voice, and their writing is impeccable. And yeah, I just love this book so much. It really spoke to me. And I think about it all the time. I read this book in July. I think about nesting all the time. Another book that did I read this before that? I did. Well, I did. So another book that I absolutely adored this year is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingslover. Oh my goodness. Y'all, all of my OGs here know how I feel about this book. I'm talking about Demon Copperhead. He's a friend. He found a friend in me. Okay. Barbara Kingslover has a fan in me. This book was impeccable. And for the longest time, I was like, why did Trust and Demon Copperhead, why did they win? Why did they win? I feel like it really had to be like some sort of like financial something or another. I think that there's like inner workings that we are not privy to in the book community, like higher ups and stuff like that, where they put their bid in for these top prizes at like when they solidify that an author underneath their publication has like delivered a masterpiece, and so they just start telling everybody like, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. And I think that was why Trust ended up getting the Pulitzer as well, because that was a phenomenal book in my opinion. The construction of it, the research that went into it, all those things, it was the inner workings for a Pulitzer. Until you read Demon Copperhead though. and I think that until you read Demon Copperhead, you're gonna think Trust should have won. But after reading Demon Copperhead, I'm like, bro, hands down, this should have just taken the prize by itself. I know, because I was like a huge proponent for Trust. I love Trust, but that's because I hadn't read this. Beautiful. So of course it takes on a lot of the characteristics of David Copperfield, but it's in a world of its own. It follows the birth and present day of the titular character, Demon Copperhead. He is born in poverty, trailer park, opioid addicted mother. He goes through a journey of sorts. Of course, you guys know, if you are, a Dickinson fan or anything like that, like I already knew like what this was going to like be, but I didn't know what it was going to be. But phenomenal story. Okay, phenomenal story. You go through all the emotions. You follow the human, you follow the human experience of a young man trying to sort out and figure out his life, because he has been longing and yearning for stability, for safety, for love, for care. And so he does end up finding it in all of the wrong places. But she rounds the book out with hope, and I really, really love that. And so, yeah, a great book. I highly recommend it. Okay, the next book that I read after that, girl, y'all, if you've been following me as well, you know that I am on my Neapolitan Quartet journey. I read one every year except last year. I did. I've read one every year. So I got to this one finally. It was on my 25 for 2025, so I did make it, and it was the third book, Those Who Leave and Those Who Stay by Eleanor Ferrante. So, okay, so with this book, this is a whirlwind. First of all, this is a whirlwind. You go through so much with Eleanor in this book. She takes us through there. It's a lot of politics in here, so it's really dense with that politics, but you never get bored, you know what I'm saying, because you're trying to figure out, okay, where is she taking us, where are we going with this book, what's up? So we are mainly following Linu, or Elena, the best friend who got married. Well, both of them got married, but she married somebody that she met in college, and moved away. So we would say this is the best friend that moved away, and she has her 2 babies, and we go through that, just her parenting, her motherhood. She definitely deals with, I think, a little bit of postpartum depression. You go through just all of the, like, she has a little bit of guilt because it's like she got out, she got away. Just like the ups and downs of her marriage. There's infidelity in here. Like I said, there's a lot of politics, talk, just the affairs, the emotion, everything here. She really pisses you off. I think Linu, I understand what she's dealing with and going through, because I've had those types of phases in my life, but it's just like, girl, you looking at her like, or you're looking at the pages like, are you being for real? Like, BFFR. Seriously. But it's still so good. It's so, once again, rich. I think this year, every year I have a word. Every year I have a word that describes how I feel about books and like what I'm looking for, what I'm interested in. This year is going to be rich. It's going to be lush. The writing is very rich. It's very lush. It comes off the page like that. That's what I'm interested in this year, and a lot of these books have that characteristic. So yeah, that's that. Loved it so much. Mwah, chef's kiss. This series so far has not let me down, and we will be reading the last book this year. Okay, so the next book that I read, another rich one, a short and rich. It's Assembly by Natasha Brown. Natasha Brown has a fan in me. Okay, all of these tabs, I don't know if you can see it down here. This book is phenomenal. It's so good. I'm gonna be brief because I've spoken about this several times on this channel. It follows a woman. She she's at a crossroads in her life. So she has done well for herself. She, for all intents and purposes, is currently at a wealthy point in her life, and she's dating a wealthy man. She's black and he's white, and she is just, she's had enough, you know what I mean? And so she is preparing to go to the countryside to his parents' anniversary. So we follow her there, right? But there's also just like a little bit going on when it comes to like the assembly. At the beginning, we're with her at an assembly. She is speaking to some students at a high school, and then we see her a little bit at work, and like those microaggressions at work, you know, with her being like a smart black woman and working with other ethnicities, especially those of white culture, white, you know, wherever you come from when you're white, and just like how they treat her, like those key indicators that they're frowning upon her. At the same time, they also look up to her too. You know what I mean? Like, you can't help but do both. And then also we now go to the countryside with her boyfriend and the family, and then we get a real sense of what she's dealing with and like what she's trying to tell us, you know, about colonialism, colonization, labor, and like who is entitled to what as it relates to this land, finances, money. How did you obtain your wealth versus how did I obtain my wealth? And just like that, the huge racial issue, racial divide that is prevalent in Britain, such as like America. So yeah, phenomenal book. It makes you think. It's very deep, and as soon as you finish, you want to read it again. So yeah, very good book. If you haven't read it, I recommend it highly. The next book after that, I've spoken about these books at length. It's Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. Love this book. Phenomenal read. Awesome. When you first get into it, you don't understand what you're doing, what you're reading, because it's about 12 people, 11 women, 1 non-binary, and their stories do end up connecting at the end, but at the source of each story, you are engulfed, entranced in their lives, and you will pick up bits and pieces from each of them that will resonate with you. And so I think that was very clever in this story. It's just like, how can you be like this woman? I've read from so many smart black women last year, but this woman is very smart. And I was very impressed at the turn of every page, because I'm like, well, this woman, she got me, like I'm hooked. And so there's not one thing I can say, because like I said, we're following 12 people, but you find all types of things in here: racial discrimination, bias, gender bias, a lot of like heavy on the politics of what it's like being an immigrant or even being born in Britain and how you're treated, you know. And like I said, in reading these books, I think I referenced in a video prior how similar the lives of black women in Britain are to the lives of black women in America, but there's like a social divide online that kind of like triggers me a little bit, because it's like, if you read more and like research more, we're so similar. But I think the biggest issue is that we are Black American and they call themselves Nigerian, or I'm from the Congo, or I'm from here. Like, when you live in other places, you have a specific place that you are from. And what they say about Black Americans is that we don't know our history. We don't know where we're from. And in the back of my mind, I'm always like, well, whose fault is that? Are we seriously having this conversation right now? Like, we are the walking elephants in the room type shit, you know? So anyway, love this book so much. Phenomenal read. I think it's a must read. So yeah, great book. The next book that I read that really spoke to me, I've spoken about it as well. Definitely a top contender, a top read of the year. I mean, it's Missoula by Jon Krakauer. Excellent book. Check the triggers. It's about rape and the justice system in a small town, and how these rapes were going unsolved, and they were getting like dismissed or thrown out, or not even brought to like trial or nothing like that, and they were being covered up. So that's what it is. So it's an investigation into, and it basically tells us the breakdown of how this was able to happen and how it was going on for so long. And with these men even like saying things that points to the fact that they're guilty. And also, like, before you read this book, like I said, check the triggers, but there's transcripts in here where the women are expressing and saying exactly what happened to them. So you have to have a little bit of a thick skin to get through it, but it's so necessary to read this very powerful book, and I highly recommend it. The next book I don't own, it's Empire of Pain by Patrick Radden Keefe. The Secret History, excuse me, The Secret History of the Sackler Family. And it was great. I read 2 Patrick Radden Keefe's this year. I read Say Nothing, and I find that Empire of Pain was better. I absolutely love Empire of Pain. I was gripped from beginning to end. I highly recommend the audiobook. So good. I took in all of the information. Every single piece I remember. So it tells the story of the Sackler family from the beginning of their careers, and like the forefathers, like the top 2, the Sacklers who created the opioid OxyContin, and how they peddled that like it was a drug. You know what I'm saying? Like it was an illegal street drug like heroin or cocaine or marijuana, and they would distribute this drug to the streets because they knew how potent it was and how highly addictive it was. But it doesn't just give you that, it gives you where all of this started, how it was like implemented, how it was made, and how it destroyed lives and families. He really did a good job with that book, and I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. So yeah, highly recommend Empire of Pain, Patrick Radden Keefe. The next one, man, I cannot stop thinking about this book. You guys don't know how I can't believe this, but it's Kitchen Confidential, okay, by Anthony Bourdain, and I loved it. He did a really good job. He did his big one with this book. I love this book. So it just follows his life in the culinary industry in New York, I think in France, just his travels, like how he how he got humbled so many times in his career, and how that really like propelled his life forward in the culinary arts, in being a chef. And one of my major key takeaways from this story is that no matter what you do in life, like the rules are still going to be the same. You have to be serious, you have to work hard, and you have to respect those around you. Like, that's the key takeaway from this book. When I finished this book, I was like, wow, everything that he spoke about in this book, I can attribute that to my career. Every little thing, and I'm not in the culinary arts, you know? So when you can do something like that, when I feel like when you can tell a story, and yeah, when you can do something like that, when you tell a story, yeah, it was good, and that means it was good. So yeah, it was very good, very funny parts, informative parts, not a dull moment in sight. So yeah, I highly recommend Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. I loved it, and I'm surprised that I loved it, as you can see. And then the last, well, 2 more. So then I have Misbehaving at the Crossroads by Honorée Fanone Jeffers. I've spoken about this book at length. I just want to put it here because I know people tend to tune into these, so I'm gonna put it here. I love this book. It is essays and writings by Fanone Jeffers, ranging from, you know, talking to or writing a letter to Barack Obama, to her personal experiences as a child and being abused as a child at the hands of her father, to being abused by men that she trusted and dated, to having a husband and no longer feeling like you are even wanting to be married ever again, to just like all the things. But this book is like just one of those ones where it's just like, you got to read it. You got to read it for yourself to experience what it is that I feel and why I speak so highly of it. So yeah, highly recommend this book. I love this book, and I will be rereading this book this year. And the last book that I read last year was The Street by Ann Petry. The Street by Ann Petry It was phenomenal. It's everything that everybody said that it was, and then some. So one of the interesting facts about The Street is, I feel like I heard somewhere that it was the first book by a Black woman to sell over 1 million copies. So yeah, The Street is about Ludi Johnson. Yeah, it's about Ludi Johnson. She is for all intents and purposes, she's single, but she's married, but she can't afford to get a divorce, so they've separated. So she's living a single life with her son, and she cleans a house for, of course, a rich white couple, because we are in the 1940s, the late 1940s. So that's pretty much all the jobs, unless you were in entertainment, that was the only job that you could get as a Black woman. And The Street is like this overarching thing, right? So The Street is everything that you can think of when it comes to the Black community, mostly negative vibes. And she's doing everything in her power to keep her son away from the street, off the street. Keep herself off the street, away from the street. We're doing everything in our power, you know, but you can only do so much, right? I'm just gonna say this. There's a lot of parallels to The Street and 2025. Probably I'm gonna say 2026 too. It's a lot going on in this book that's just like, man, it's almost like no matter what, no matter what Louis tried to do, it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And it's I can't believe, like, I'm at a loss for words. I think the main reason why it's going down as a top read for me is the writing, the language, the metaphors for The Street, the Black woman that is Ludi Johnson, her striving for better, wanting more, wanting to do better, all for the one person that was most important in her life, and she still, I guess, failed him. But it also just like paints this portrait of just like how much the world is against Black women. Like, it's like no matter what, it's like no matter what, like no matter what we try to do, how we try to overcome, how we try to succeed, there's always going to be something or someone trying to bring us down. So yeah, I don't know, it's just, The Street was a lot. Ludi Johnson, one of my favorite characters of all time. And yeah, Ann Petry, you got a fan in me. So yeah, that's it, guys. Those are all of my top reads of 2025. And yeah, I don't have anything else for you I don't have anything else for you guys at this time. I'm gonna go and edit this, and I'm gonna go and watch all of y'all's videos, everybody that watches me that has them, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I know we've talked about several of these books already, so I'm not gonna expect too many comments, but anyways, Happy New Year to you guys. My first video of the year, and hopefully I'll be back soon. Yeah. Oh, deuces.